Nikki Bella making her return to Monday Night Raw and getting dropped by Liv Morgan got us thinking about something. Nikki was the longest reigning Divas champion of all time and the face of the whole division. And though we might not remember the Divas era too fondly, it was responsible for over a decade of women's wrestling, good, bad or otherwise. So today, we're taking a look back over the history of the Divas division, the memorable, the bizarre and the questionable, as well as some highlights that were better than you remember. And with WWE Evolution 2 right around the corner, what better time to do that? You're watching Sportskeeda Wrestling, my name is Liam, and today we're taking a look back at the strange history of the WWE Divas division. But before we go any further, don't forget to hit subscribe and click the little bell icon to be notified first about all of our newest videos. We're getting close to 200,000 subscribers here at Sportskeeda Wrestling, and it would help us out a lot. Thank you, and on with the video. The WWE Divas division technically began in the late 1990s, inspired by the Attitude Era antics of talents like Sable, Chyna, and Sunny. Jacqueline heralded the return of the WWE Women's Championship in 1998. Sable then got herself a Playboy cover, as did Chyna, and this was WWE's attempt to show that their female talents had multimedia crossover appeal. They could be wrestlers, TV personalities, and models, or so WWE hoped. Deborah, Terry Runnels, Original Tori, Stacey the Cat Carter, and others made up the rest of the division, as did Harvey Whippleman, who got himself a run with the WWE Women's Championship during this time. Wrestlers like Trish Stratus and Lita were soon introduced, who are widely credited as two of the most notable pioneers of the current style, albeit a very early version. But for every great moment, there was a pillow fight match, a bikini contest, or a segment where scantily clad female wrestlers would grapple each other in pudding or mud or something else of that sort. A little bit degrading, you might say, and not exactly prime athletic competition. As the 90s rolled into the early 2000s, the word Divas was officially introduced as the banner the division would fly under. Names like Stacy Keibler, Tori Wilson, and Dawn Marie were introduced, and Sable came back after some controversy. More Playboy covers, more money, and unfortunately, more inappropriate segments with the aging and out-of-control Vince McMahon. For example, when he made Stacy Keibler dance for him, or when he had on-screen affairs with the likes of Trish Stratus and Sable, or the infamous bark like a dog incident. Less of an overall focus was taken on in-ring abilities, and a greater focus was taken on visual appeal. WWE believed it drew more than the athletic side at the time, so that's the direction that they went in, though the women's title was still going strong, with the likes of Trish Stratus, Lita, and now the imposing Jazz chasing after it. In 2003, things started to get weird, as the WWE Diva Search was introduced, with WWE adopting a similar format to the Tough Enough reality series, with a focus on finding the next female star. The contestants weren't exactly Bryan Danielson or Kenny Omega in the ring, but they looked the part and fit the mold of what the company seemed to want at the time. The competition was a resounding failure every time WWE attempted it, with bizarre segments that had nothing to do with wrestling, including where contestants played dodgeball against WWE talents, would insult and swear at each other on live TV, and did awful things to pies with The Rock present. Eventual winners like Christy Hemme, whose butt was hungry for pie, and Ashley Massaro, who was memorable despite her short run in the company, did manage to carve out something for themselves. But few others saw success from the competition. The Divas division itself was expanded in the mid-2000s, with talents like Trish Stratus and Lita still on top, even main eventing Raw around this time in a history-making match. Victoria was a dominating presence, Melina made her first appearances as part of MNM, and the unhinged Mickie James burst onto the scene. Again, we must stress that the in-ring product was not the best at this time. The focus was very much on aesthetics, but there was still some pretty good matches like Trish Stratus versus Mickie James for the WWE Women's Championship at WrestleMania 22, and Trish Stratus' first retirement match at Unforgiven 2006. However, Lita's retirement match against Mickie James at Survivor Series 2006 didn't go over quite so well due to her public humiliation at the hands of Crime Time after the bell, but let's not think about that for too long. Some of the divas were admittedly used for bad comedy, Jillian Hall for example, who was JBL's chief of staff, and got a grotesque growth eaten off of her face by the Boogeyman, and also gave us some of the, one would hope intentionally, worst singing in the history of humankind as part of her later gimmick. Though the likes of Lita and Trish Stratus eventually left the company, arguably well before their time, Mickie James was still going strong, Melina had really come into her own, and Maria Kanellis, Ashley Massaro and Candice Michelle was still knocking around. We also saw the introduction of a young Beth Phoenix, who who began running through the roster at an alarming pace. Dubbed the Glamazon, Beth Phoenix went on to become a multi-time champion and one of the standouts of the division for years to come. She was as powerful and capable in the ring as any that had come before her, and that reflected in her presentation and in her success. Talents like Natalya and the Bella Twins, who would carry the division in future years, were also introduced, along with a second championship for the women of the WWE, the much-maligned WWE Divas Championship, which was a pink and silver belt in the shape of a butterfly. A lot of people hated this design, and it's not hard to see why. After all, it looked more like a hair clip than a World Championship belt. Michelle McCool became the first Divas champion in history, and the short era of 2 women's championships in WWE began. This would feature some highlights like Michelle McCool and Layla's pairing as Lay Cool, where they accidentally broke the WWE Women's Championship in half and comically carried half of the belt each as co-champions. They also had some less funny moments, like when they bullied Mickie James in the universally panned Piggy James storyline, which was mean-spirited writing on WWE's part. Something similar was done later on with the Bella Twins and Karma, known as Awesome Kong outside of WWE, with Kong never getting her revenge on the pair. Eventually, in 2010, the WWE Women's Championship was retired, as Michelle McCool unified it with the Divas title. Names like Kelly Kelly, Eve Torres, Maurice, Alicia Fox, and Caitlyn made up the rest of the division, until eventually we got ourselves AJ Lee. AJ did a lot for the WWE. She managed, she was an authority figure, and also was an exceptional in-ring talent. However, she wasn't given much opportunity to show that off during her run, given that the match times for the Divas division rarely went beyond 5 minutes. But change was very much on the horizon. 2013 brought with it debut of Total Divas, a reality TV series on the E! Network documenting the lives of the WWE Divas division. The Bella Twins, Natalya, Eva Marie, and Cameron and Naomi were featured in the first season, though the cast did vary a lot throughout the show's life, even featuring UFC legend Ronda Rousey at one point. In fact, Total Divas outlived the Divas division itself, lasting until 2019, and even getting a spin-off. Paige would also soon debut, winning the Divas Championship in her first main roster match. Initially branded as the anti-diva who would make fun of Total Divas, she was soon a diva on the cast of Total Divas. Nikki Bella captured the Divas Championship off the back of the show's success and embarked on the longest reign in the history of the title, beating AJ Lee's previous record. She feuded with her sister Brie, then realigned with her sister Brie, and beat every challenger that came her way. Just forget about their SummerSlam 2014 angle involving Stephanie McMahon and we're all good. A new generation of talent hit the main roster in the mid-2010s, with the impressive young stars of NXT's women's roster finally getting their chance at the big time, notably Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, and Charlotte Flair. They had the Team Bella versus Team Bad versus Team PCB feud, with the hilarious submission sorority mishap, and some welcome TV time for the likes of Alicia Fox and Tamina. Charlotte Flair ended Nikki Bella's record-setting title reign at Night of Champions 2015, ending the Divas division along with it, though the title did stick around until WrestleMania, where Stephanie McMahon and Lita revealed the new WWE Women's Championship. Contested in a triple threat match between Charlotte, Sasha Banks, and Becky Lynch, Charlotte was crowned the inaugural champion, the butterfly belt was retired, and it was confirmed that WWE's women's roster would no longer be known as Divas. They would be superstars like their male counterparts. Except, of course, in the title of Total Divas, because that was a crossover project that was still making them a lot of money at the time. Which concludes this brief look back at the WWE Divas era. Was it perfect? No. And WWE's women have it far better today, without question. But it at least had something of a range and branched out into things like reality TV, which got a lot of attention for WWE in its own right. But it was the only representation of women's wrestling in the mainstream for years, which didn't do it any favours at all. The women gave 100% and really made the most of what they had to work with, despite the limitations, and like it or not, it's an important part of WWE history. Even if you can't see the positives in it, you can simply see it as a cautionary tale from a different time, which is an awfully pessimistic thought to end a video on, but that's exactly what we're going to do, because that is about it for this one. What did you think of the WWE Divas division? Was it as bad as everybody said? What were your favourite moments from it? Did your favourite match feature Melina versus Alicia Fox? You can share all your thoughts with us in the comment section down below, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe to see more content just like this. And you can also enable those notifications so you never miss one of these videos when they drop. You've been watching Sportskeeda Wrestling, I've been Liam, and we'll see you in the next one.